Welcome to Chapter 6, Employee Selection of Human Resource Management. This class is Management 3330, Section 20. My name is Ashley Fletcher. Let's get started. Throughout the next 5 to 6 minutes, I'll give you an introduction to the employee selection processes, a synopsis of my Wall Street Journal article, how the article and the lecture correlate, a conclusion, and then 2 questions on what you should have learned from this presentation. The employee selection process starts with an application. Most of these happen online these days with Indeed.com, Monster.com, etc. It makes it much easier for not only an employee to find a potential position, but also for an employer to weed out resumes based on criteria and what they're looking for. Interviewers are looking for a lot when it comes to an employee. They can use things such as aptitude testing and cognitive ability tests to see how intelligent an applicant is based on IQ or how well they are able to learn new skills. They also are looking for qualities to fit the position such as past experience and personality traits. It goes deeper than appearances because a pretty penny doesn't do the job right. There's also legal requirements they have to meet so that they don't create a discriminatory environment or any legal ramifications. For the interview itself, the interviewer will have to make sure he's prepared with proper tools and questions in place. He has to decide what kind of interview he's doing, whether it be direct or indirect. Direct has a set list of questions where all the interviews are going to be more similar, whereas indirect is open-ended questions. He wants to make sure that the interviewee is educated on what all is going to go down in the interview, as well as him following protocol, making sure he isn't asking questions that he isn't legally allowed to ask, such as age, but while making sure that he is asking the legal ones, such as employment status in the U.S. When it comes to the decision, they have to have a deadline so that it helps not only the interviewer decide by a certain point, but it also means that the interviewees are not left hanging in midair without getting a response. This Wall Street Journal article, The Dangers of Hiring for Cultural Fit, discusses hiring without going through the proper motions of employee selection. Key points are hiring for comfort, which means you hire somebody you get along with even though they may not be the most qualified applicant. Environment over ability, meaning you want somebody that you can hang out with and get along with at work over somebody who's going to do their job right. Employee dissatisfaction, because when you hire based on personality and not based on a good job done, it tends to create a sense of lacking and people feel like there's less success and therefore they aren't satisfied with their job. And then following company values, people are wanting an increase in companies not only making their goals and values, but also them supporting it and hiring people who support them as well. The process of hiring without employee selection process leaves room for the looking glass merit, which basically is you hire someone because they make you feel good. This article is relevant to Chapter 6, Employee Selection, because it incorporates the lack of selection processes and a lot of deciding applicants in this day and age. A lot of people are choosing based on personality and what makes them happy in the office instead of what's going to get the job done. And it shows that the application or the employee selection process actually improves the likelihood of a long-term career employee over somebody who is going to be leaving every 6 months with a high turnover rate. It introduces the idea of personality over qualifications, and it talks about how current employees prefer long-term commitments in both jobs and coworkers, meaning that they want people who are going to do the same job they are so that they can all create a stable environment, proper incomes, and they can build their life and their career with an ultimate goal towards their future and the employee's environment success. While employee selection isn't necessary in every job hire, it does increase the chances of hiring an employee that is going to stay on longer and in turn decrease turnover rates. When you take the time to hire somebody, even if it's just a McDonald's, wherever you start, you have to start at the bottom and work your way up. So if you hire employees who are only going to stay for 6 months, you're never going to have those employees that start at the bottom and work their way up to get to management positions. But when you incorporate employee selection, even at a restaurant or a McDonald's, they start at the bottom. And if they're committed to not only the corporation, the goal, and the values of the business, they'll stay and in turn work their way up that ladder, which creates success for the business because they've chosen an employee that has stayed, kept the values of the company, and created an overall good work environment because they had the right qualification. Exam questions. What is the looking glass merit? A type of certificate. B, a telescope. C, hiring someone who makes you feel good. D, a type of merit benefit. Question 2. Cognitive and aptitude testing are relevant to every job. True or false?